We're back because I missed yesterday. My children got the plague over the weekend, which means we got a lot of news to go through. We got hotfixes in. We got changes to how things are working right now. Also, big news with the Arcantina Hearthstone. So let's just jump straight in here. WoW Season 1 is just around the corner. That's right. World of Warcraft Midnight is live, and Season 1 begins on March 17th, guys. That's just next week's reset, which means that's going to be a big reset for everybody as we get ready to head into the next season. Take new PvP challenges into Midnight. We got a bunch of new PvP shit happening. Slayer's Rise Battleground, Outdoor World PvP at the Void Storm. If you haven't dabbled a little bit in that, hey, do it to pass the time. Why not if you already hit level cap and you're doing all the other things? The Live, Laugh, Love March trading post is also live. We see the Night Elf trading post shit going down. So anybody who's excited about that, yeah, that's a thing as well. Also, the ensembles and things are available. We got your Ruby Mage Weave, which is a little play upgraded version of the Magister's Terrace set. So if you like some old classic shit in your retail, wow, that's another cool thing to get. The Ambassador program is also live with the new Portal Room Discord channel. That's right, a Discord channel where all the newbies can get together and have a good old time circle jerk at each other with some professional players, I guess as Blizzard likes to call them. Players that are more experienced in the game, there to help out new players. I think this is a cool little thing for people out there who are trying to get into WoW for the first time. Adventurers Calling, that's right, the Midnight soundtrack is now available on YouTube. I've actually been enjoying the Midnight soundtrack. I mean, does the sound team ever miss in WoW, honestly? The soundtrack has been pretty damn good. I think personally the Harnier zone, as much as that's like the least exciting zone to me of all of it in terms of story and aesthetic and everything, I have to say the music in that zone is absolutely freaking glorious, as is all the other music. I even like the Silvermoon kind of remixed music from what BC used to be. So yeah, music is always S tier. I totally agree. Been a bunch of fun with that. You've been killing it in the training grounds. Yeah, the training grounds, there's actually an update to that one, Cam Shady, that I'm going to get to here in a second. Don't forget, guys, if you want to buy squirrel mounts off the shop, that's right, you can do that as well. And furries rejoice. You can now wear a furry cobalt suit off the WoW shop as well. Yeah, furries care about their candles as well. You could take that off and put it as a butt plug as well. Moving on to some other things. Yes, the tree and Hearthsteel stuff is a big thing right now. Blizzard putting tons of items on the store for the new Hearthsteel currency. That's right. The pay-to-win version of decor is here, and you guys can use your Hearthsteel to purchase a bunch of things like an Alliance and Horde rug, a little tower, and a very controversial tree. Maybe I'll get into that in a little bit here. Hotfixes are in. We got a bunch of little hotfixes hitting the servers recently. These went in live on March 6th. We have the Harnier Druid form has been temporarily turned into a stag model. That's right, because people were like clipping in a weird way through the current Harnier Druid form. So the traveling form for Harnier has been changed into a stag temporarily. This might be changed back by the time you're watching this. I'm not sure when they're going to fix it, but they're trying to fix the Harnier riding Druid form. So there you go. Death Knight fixes for Blood and Unholy. Druid hot fixes for Guardian. Monk got fixes. Paladin, specifically Retribution, also got some hot fixes out of this. For dungeons, here's some important stuff. Follower dungeons have been made a little bit easier. That's right. For the followers in the dungeons, their damage has been increased by 10%, and then their damage against non-bosses has also been increased by 25 to 30%, so those guys should be hitting a little bit harder. What's going on, Brenna? Magister's Terrace, we also see some Mythic Zero difficulty turndowns here, so a bunch of nerfs to a lot of these dungeons on Mythic Zero difficulties. We see Magister's Terrace getting some nerf, Mayasara Caverns, the Blinding Veil, specifically 3 bosses out of that one, Windrunner Spire, and Void Scar Arena, all seeing little nerfs here. The Void Scar Arena one, the portals should now reliably deliver players to their destination, so that's not really a nerf, but a little change there. A few item changes, PvP changes, quest updates for things that were broken, reputation, and sound. I mentioned this when I was going through the quest line. Blizzard's turning the sound down on the fucking Sunwell. That thing was blasting my ear. I could not hear dialogue. I could not hear shit. I couldn't even hear my own stream. You guys remember that one? Standing by the Sunwell was literally making people's ears bleed. So yeah, whoever in the dev team didn't realize the Sunwell was way too loud. Thankfully, someone brought that up to their attention, and they have turned down the volume on the Sunwell. That's right. Light be blessed, finally. Also, other changes going live on March 9th. We see some class changes here. Preservation Evoker, Discipline Priest, and Restoration Shaman getting some updates and fixes. A few item changes, more PvP stuff, Profession stuff, and user interface stuff. The Glowing Moth minimap icon in Harandar update to prevent confusion for treasure seekers, and then updated the icon to Misplaced Tome, Ranger Cache, Coalesced Light, and the Dead Drop repeatable treasures in Eversong Wood. So some little map updates there for anybody who cares. Okay, this was a big one, and I said this when I told you guys about the Arcantina Hearthstone. I said, Blizzard watches the Samiccus news streams, and they're going to change this again, guaranteed. But if you guys remember, the Arcantina Hearthstone used to have like a 1.5 minute cooldown, and it would teleport you to Silvermoon, essentially. If you walked out the front door, you would be in Silvermoon. So it was acting as a Silvermoon Hearthstone. Blizzard went and changed that into a return you to your last spot Hearthstone, right? So it kind of worked like the Dream Walking or the Death Gate for Death Knights, where it would essentially return you to the front of a dungeon. So people started using this as a 1.5 minute cooldown to return themselves to any dungeon that they were currently in, to the entrance at least. So this was a really cool thing and really useful thing for a lot of players, and we all said in chat and here on stream, there's no way this is going to last. Well, it didn't last. The hotfix is in, and now this thing actually has returned to being a Silvermoon Hearthstone with a 15-minute cooldown, which is actually even more useful than, it's not as useful as the 1.5 minute, but more useful than the Dungeon Portal one. So yes, your Arcantina Hearthstone now is once again a Silvermoon Hearthstone with now a 15-minute cooldown. So when you go to the Arcantina and you walk out the front door, you will be in Silvermoon, which means now you can set your regular Hearthstone to any other location you want, because we all automatically now have a Hearthstone back to Silvermoon. I think this is it. I think we've settled in now. This is what the Arcantina Hearthstone is going to be for the rest of the expansion. Yeah, awesome indeed. I think this is a good one. It's much, it's a nice quality of life fix for everybody now in Midnight. For the rest of the expansion, we have a nice 15-minute Hearthstone back to the hub city. Here is the Spring Blossom controversy that I briefly mentioned earlier in the news segment here. So the Spring Blossom, this thing went live at 750 Hearthsteel for a tree. Yeah, so if you don't know how much that costs, you can just put a decimal point right here. It was $7.50 essentially per tree. Okay, so people were paying $7.50 per tree. Blizzard claims that this was a mistake. They didn't mean to price it at this high, and they wanted to adjust it down to $2.50 Hearthsteel, which puts that at $2.50. They have retroactively given people more trees and refunded people who went and bought these, because whales are going to whale, and people were actually buying this shit at $7.50 a tree. Yeah, so the Spring Blossom price has been adjusted. Hearthsteel continues to be a thing. People are going to use it, guys. As much as a lot of you guys in chat hate it, and we've talked about it, it's going to be profitable for Blizzard for sure. I mean, so they're continuing to fix this shit. They're continuing to retroactively, I guess, give people more trees for the shit they already bought, and we'll see what other items end up on this. But Hearthsteel going to continue to be a thing going forward. Adventurer Crest discount. People are already hitting this, believe it or not. So yeah, there is a discount, just like previous expansions, for your alts and for upgrading your crests that you currently have into the next level of crests, and people are already hitting this thing. So all you got to do to hit this discount, guys, is get to the equivalent of a 6 of 6 adventurer item level. So things like the 233 item level veteran pieces that you can get from Hard Pro Prey will actually help you get this. But basically upgrading all adventurer gear up to 6 of 6 or getting those veteran pieces will unlock this achievement for you. By getting this stuff, you will essentially now have the ability to upgrade alts at a 50% discount, which is increased from what the 33% discount that used to exist in the game. So 50% discount for previous crest upgrades for your alts, and upgrading those current Adventurer Dawn crests or Veteran crests into Adventurer crests into Veteran crests. So the upgrade system is now live. People are already hitting this thing. People gathering up crests and upgrading them to veteran. People back holding up a bunch of crests to be able to upgrade even to champion level crests later on when the season starts to go live. We start gathering a bunch more of those. So yeah, the upgrade system continues. Remember, the upgrade system has been updated for this expansion. Upgrades now require a small amount of gold rather than Valor Stones. Each upgrade now requires 20 crests, up to 100 to get to that 6 of 6 basically. For each week is your cap. Upgrading the track uses crests, the same name, so Champion Track Crests and Champion Track Crests upgrades Champion Track gear, and then all tracks have 6 levels to upgrade to, so that's how that all works now. And yes, actually, the discount does exist for your main as well for the upgrading of gear once you've hit a certain item level, which will no longer cost Crest. You remember there was like the point where it only costed you Valor Stones to upgrade gear? Now it only costs you gold once you've gotten to that certain point. So yeah, this is a nicer system, I think, overall. Bigger discount for your alts as well. So overall, I think this is a big upgrade for everybody in the game when it comes to the upgrade system. Moving on to some really cool mounts that you guys can actually did I almost say glit? What am I combining? Git and clit together? I don't even know what I'm saying sometimes. The new Amani Warbear. That's right. The new Amani Warbear is a really cool one. This is like an orange variation. A really easy one for you guys to get. All you got to do is run around to these 4 locations, okay? There's these urns at these 4 locations. You click on each of these urns, and it'll summon like this Amani troll ghost. You fight the ghost off, and you kill it. And then you return to this location, the Honored Warriors Cache, okay? This is, you go there first, and then you go find these urns, and then you return to the cache, and when you do, the 4 ghosts that you slaughtered should be there, and now you should be able to loot this thing. Once you loot it, you'll get your Ancestral Warbear. That's right, the orange version of this. There are a few other Amani Warbears now available to people in this game, but this is a really easy one to get. If you're already cap level, or you're leveling, I guess, you should be able to go do this one. A real easy orange variation of the Amani Warbear. The Amani Warbears are always cool. You can't get enough of these. Also, another one, I'm less of a fan of these. The what's it called? The Hawkstrider mounts, right? There's 2 ones that you can get now with the Mythic Zeros live. These will be also available in the Mythic Plus versions of these dungeons once those, in fact, go live when the season hits. But you got the Lucent Hawkstrider and the Spectral Hawkstrider. The Lucent one will drop off of Magister's Terrace, and the Spectral one will drop off of Windrunner Spire. These will drop off the final boss in each of these dungeons. So yeah, 2 little Hawkstriders. If you're a mount farmer and you want to go get these, you can run these Mythic Zeros. Now, you can only run 1 Mythic Zero a week, so you're only going to be able to do this once a week. But once Mythic Plus opens up, you can run these over infinitely and infinitely. So running these, getting yourself some Hawkstrider mounts, or getting the Amani Warbear, those are pretty cool mounts that you can get right now before the season actually kicks off. And then finally, the best ways to gear up before the season actually kicks off. A real quick kind of summary of where the current sources of gear are coming from. 246 item level can be gotten from these 4 renown tracks, right? The specific renown track ranks and the items that you can get. These are some really good pieces of gear, some best in slot items right now before the season actually kicks off. And then we also have the non-seasonal Mythic Zeros. You can get these 240 item level for running your Mythic Zeros. Again, there's a lockup on this, so you can run each of these dungeons once per week at a Mythic Zero. Hard Mode Prey gives you 233 item level. World Quests will cap out at 230 item level. Crafting items will get you to 259 item level, but there is a warning here, and that's because crafting a weapon might be your best option here when it comes to actually putting some really good gear on your toon, and you're going to want 2 more sparks to do that. So the best thing to do is to hold on to your sparks until the season actually kicks off, or until you get 4 sparks in total to craft a weapon. So maybe crafting isn't the best option right now, probably better off saving those sparks of radiance. And then other sources of gear we hear, Heroic Dungeons, 244 item, low normal prey dungeons, 220, rares also giving 220, and then normal dungeons giving yourself 214 item level. That's your total kind of item level summary here. There isn't really like a desire or need to go actually gear the fuck out as hard as core as possible right now. When the season kicks off, you're going to replace everything real quick. But if you want to be ready to do the highest Mythic Plus possible when the season actually kicks off, these are your best sources of gear. And for today, that is all in terms of news.